Did you notice Kaylee's eyes? She never actually died. All of this was an act. When Hopper came back with the bandages, her eyes moved. At the same time, the ammonite on the plane was destroyed. That was the moment she used her powers to evade the bullet, deliberately letting everyone believe she was dead. What's even more telling is what happened before the fight. Kaylee and Eleven had already entered the mindscape together. When they came out of it, they had blood on her nose. A clear sign of using her abilities. But in the final destruction sequence, Eleven's nose isn't bleeding at all. That detail matters. It means Mike's suspicion was right. The figure standing there wasn't the real Eleven, but an illusion Callie created for her. And it was precisely during the brief window when Hopper stepped away that Kaylee and Eleven completed their plan. They needed Hopper to fully believe that the sacrifice had already happened. Only then would he stop interfering, allowing everything else to move forward as planned. Once the substance inside was completely destroyed, the ammonite should have lost all of its power. That's why Eleven was able to deceive everyone and leave unnoticed. Do you really believe they both sacrificed themselves? Did you notice the picture on the wall? It looks exactly like the Upside Down. In fact, all of this is really just Mike's D&D dream. It's a poster from the 1982 film, The Dark Crystal. The story is about a hero who must find the missing shard of the crystal and restore it before a rare astronomical event called the Great Conjunction, when the crystal's magic is at its strongest. If he fails, the Skeksis will gain immortality, and the world will be plunged into eternal darkness. That crystal mirrors the reason 11 and 8 have to remain on the bridge. Although the Duffer Brothers weren't even born until 2 years after the film came out, so it seems like there's no direct connection. The prequel to The Dark Crystal was actually written by the Duffer Brothers themselves. What's even more astonishing is that this poster appears for the first time in episode 2 of season 1, and then appears again in the penultimate episode of the final season, perfectly reflecting the symmetry of the Upside Down. In truth, Stranger Things is just an infinitely magnified game of Dungeons and Dragons. And in season 5, when the lab fracture opens and everyone enters together, that moment is actually Mike's first time entering the Upside Down. Doesn't that completely blow your mind? Did you notice the sweat stains under Vecna's arms? No one realized just how busy he actually is. To build his so-called beautiful world, he originally wanted Will to help him, but Will refused to be a spy. So in the end, everything fell on Vecna alone. He had to search again and again, all over the place, for suitable children. He had to constantly deal with the little squads that kept coming after him. And on top of that, he was traveling back and forth between 3 different dimensions. So busy, he didn't even have time to change his clothes. After finally gathering 12 children, he still had to go after the disobedient Holly and Derek. They ran desperately, hiding wherever they could, while Henry was already completely exhausted, dragging his feet behind them, so tired he could barely lift his head. If he hadn't grabbed Holly at the critical moment, if he'd been even 1 second slower, she would have shattered on impact. With boys like Will and Derek, he relies more on intimidation, frightening them into obedience. But when it comes to girls, he becomes someone entirely different. He prepares beautiful clothes, carefully tucks Holly in after bringing her back, afraid of scaring her. He even polishes that brainwashing speech over and over in advance. Do you think he really evil? This is one of the biggest plot holes in the story. Before Max fell into a coma, Hopper was still believed by everyone to have died in the explosion beneath the Hawkins lab, and he had not yet returned from the Soviet Union. From Max's point of view, her last understanding of Hopper should still be that he sacrificed himself in the underground lab. However, when the two of them reunite, Max shows almost no emotional reaction. What makes this even more unreasonable is that during her coma, Max was trapped in the mental world. She had no way of knowing what was happening outside. The only time she came close to the real world was when her strong will to survive pushed her near the exit, allowing her to briefly see Lucas. She neither had the time nor the possibility to learn that Hopper was alive. Even in the mental world, the idea of Holly acting as a receiver of outside information does not solve this problem. Holly has no connection to Hopper, and Mike and Nancy deliberately kept the truth from their family. This means Holly herself could not have known about Hopper's survival or his experiences. 11 and Max's reunion doesn't even include a hug, while Will and Max's reunion is far more excited and intimate. So much so that it almost makes it seem like they are the closest pair. Don't you find that strange? Do you know Derek's plan? He was never the dipshit Derek. Everyone thought Derek had given up after Henry threatened him. On the surface, he even tried to persuade Holly to submit, but all of that was an act. Before Henry ever caught him, Derek had already slipped out once on his own. He stayed hidden in the shadows and overheard the conversation between Max and Holly. The boy everyone dismissed as a fool was actually clearer-headed than anyone realized, and braver too. Later, Holly told him to keep playing the role of the annoying Derek. That's why he deliberately raised his voice in front of the other kids, provocatively announcing that he was going into into the forest, openly breaking Henry's rules. Then he walked straight in, without a hint of secrecy. The point was, to make the other kids go tell Henry, to get him to come and take Derek away. Although Derek didn't manage to reach the cave Henry was afraid of, the fear he showed made Henry overlook one crucial thing. Derek himself was also someone who could explode at any moment. Holly seemed to give in when she was surrounded by the other kids, but in reality, she was waiting for Derek to push their final plan to its last step. Do you think they'll manage to escape? Did you notice Elle's hug in that moment? She's about to break her promise and choose to let Will and Mike be together. When Will tells everyone that he doesn't like girls, everyone rushes in to hug him. Everyone promises they won't leave him. But Elle's expression is unusually complicated. After being influenced by 008, it's very likely that she will choose not to return to the real world. When Will says he once had a crush on someone, he says it while looking directly at Mike. Mike has actually noticed for a long time that Will likes him. Mike's firm, or me, makes Elle even more certain that she is the obstacle standing between the two of them. It was her who disrupted everyone's lives, and it was precisely because she doesn't belong to this world that she received Mike's love. A love that could bring danger to Mike at any moment. Now, after Will has confessed everything, Elle will feel a deep sense of guilt when she faces Will again. Hopper also notices that something is wrong with Elle after she starts spending time with Kaylee, which is why he tells Joyce that if Kaylee makes even the slightest mistake, he won't forgive her. He has already realized that Elle is being pushed toward a choice she won't be able to come back from. Do you think Elle will really sacrifice herself in the end?